Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk faster, faster, faster. Gotta talk fast.
Welcome to an oral review of Archie Comics' Sonic the Hedgehog, reminding you that even in an era of rampant, unabashed fascism, local judgment calls still can be prudent. Just because the dominant religion in America is Christianity doesn't mean all Christians are beyond hope. They might even be on your side. Your neighbors and community are still your neighbors and community. There's a limit, but it's not 0%. I'm Nick, and except for this intro, I didn't write the script, actually.
Oh, okay. And I'm Dominic, and except for this intro, I haven't read any of today's mystery script. That's lovely. Okay.
So, I didn't tell you this ahead of time, but do you know what today is? Do you remember what today is?
Today is D-Day +1, June 7th.
Yes, that's how I normally remember June 7th, but it's also our 1-year anniversary of doing Gotta Talk Fast.
Holy shit, we started GTF on D-Day +1? That's awesome.
No, we actually didn't. The first day we uploaded was June 2nd. So
got it. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, funnily enough, the episode we did last week, which was supposed to go up before June 2nd, ended up going up on June 2nd. So we actually, to the day, uploaded Gotta Talk Fast episodes 1 year apart.
Awesome.
Due to a mistake. But to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, we thought we'd do something a little bit special. And we thought we'd get a guest writer to do today's script. So I reached out to our dear friend Mike F. And I'm gonna sit back. Honestly, it's been very nice not having to stress about writing a script. So I'm gonna sit back, relax, and listen to Dominic's smooth voice.
Okay, here we go. We are reading Archie Comics' Sonic the Hedgehog number 33. Release date, January of 1996. Publication date, April of 1996. Let's Get Small, Part 1. Written by Mike Gallagher, penciled by Dave Manock, inks by Harvo. We open on our hasty hero sprinting into the village of Knothole, bouncing around and narrating his actions in what must be, given the premise of this comic, an homage to the 1993 McDonald Super Bowl ad featuring Michael Jordan and Larry Bird playing an incredulous game of horse. In the ad, Bird sees Jordan with a Big Mac and challenges him for it. Jordan, a slave to Gambler, the gambling monster living inside him, has no choice.
Sorry.
Has no choice.
I forgot about Gambler.
Has no choice but to accept. The game quickly reaches absurd heights, literally, with Jordan narrating his next shot atop the Sears Tower. We do have a link for reference. Should we? I don't know if we should play that or should we skip that?
Let's insert the clip now.
Over the second rafter, off the floor, nothing but net. Through the window, off the wall, nothing but net.
What you want is what you get, and McDonald's today.
Off the expressway, over the river, off the billboard, through the window, off the wall, nothing but net.
That's actually really cool. I don't know if I have seen that before. I don't think so. That aired well before I was born, but
it's just a classic commercial. I mean, obviously, I didn't see it live, but I mean, I just know it because it's a famous one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, like that New Jack Swing soundtrack is iconic, and you've got two greats right there. I don't know why Larry Bird wasn't in Space Jam, but anyway, back to Knothole. We see Sonic, who, not receiving the attention he desperately craves, is yelling for his comrades, to no response. Behind him creeps the silhouette of Rotor.
He was in Space Jam. Sorry, I was like 90% sure he was. But I was like, I don't know enough about basketball to like say that definitively, so I quickly went on IMDb. Yeah, he's in Space Jam. He's the tall white guy.
He was one of the 6?
Yeah.
So it was, what was it? It was Bugsy Malone, Patrick Ewing.
Or I wonder if it was just like a cameo. I don't know if he was actually on the team itself, but he has IMDb credit for
You're right. Behind him creeps the silhouette of Rotor. His next action is an homage as well, this time to Nick's pickup technique at bars, when he quickly covers Sonic's mouth and a piece of cloth from behind. Holy shit, dude.
I didn't know Mike F knew about that.
But rather than an ether-soaked rag, Rotor supplies Sonic with a surgical mask and, with his strength fading, guides him into the lab where the entirety of the Freedom Fighters are lying bedridden. Should note that was a bit. The ether-soaked rag thing is a bit. Okay. Rotor, snap out of it, pal. Tell me what happened while I was out on patrol. So this is sick Rotor, right? It all started when we ordered takeout from the new fast food restaurant. We see a festering bag of food on the table, flies swarming, and green liquid seeping out. Pictured on the bag is a familiar red R. McRobos? That sounds like a setup by Robotnik. Why didn't you eat the stuff I left in the fridge? Rotor explains that the crew is so tired of eating chili dogs, they would rather risk it all on a trap so obvious, even Sonic immediately clocked it. Gosh, Robotnik must have mastered microbionics. Tiny little robot germs. He sprinkled them onto our deep fried potatoes so they'd get inside of us, which they did. We've all got the French virus. Sonic, pretending to know what French virus is, gasps. In his last moments of lucidity, Rotor begs Sonic to save the Freedom Fighters, flopping forward with his tusks driven into the ground like stakes. Knowing this problem must be solved at the microscopic level, Sonic runs to the storage closet and pulls out a shrink ray the Freedom Fighters salvaged from one of Robotnik's machines. He powers up the machine and shrinks himself. End of part 1.
Okay. Because we're still on Larry Bird in my mind. I went and while you're doing that, I wasn't listening. I went and just looked up his scenes in Space Jam. He's playing golf with Bill Murray and Michael Jordan.
Okay. Thank you. You're right. I remember it now. He was not one of the 6 or so that got their powers, their skills stolen. Okay, good.
And then on top of it, he watches a game with Bill Murray on the sideline. Those are his 2 scenes. Okay, now to the actual comic. I'm going to open with my favorite part of this, and maybe even most annoying part of this is I like the implication that Sonic is for some reason the chef of the group.
Yeah, that's I did not think that.
Yeah. It makes no sense. I feel like I clocked either Antoine or Rotor as being the person who cooks,
or Uncle Chuck at this point.
I mean, Uncle Chuck doesn't exist until he's in frame, I think.
It's like a bunny situation. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely unless observed, Uncle Chuck does not exist.
This comic has object permanence issues.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think of the part 1 here?
I mean, sure. It's a silly setup, but it's so silly where I can buy into it, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, sure.
And I appreciate the continuance of okay, well, we have a shrink ray, so let's use the shrink ray.
This might be a little nitpicky, but I don't think Sonic got small enough. Because when you look at the size of his shrink, when he's small, he's still the size of a tiny pencil.
Yeah, they did not clock microscopic properly. Microscopic means you cannot see it with your eyes. You need a microscope. Bacterial level. Yeah, he's not small enough at all.
Yeah, but that's just me. Well, and then he gets inside, and then he is small enough. But
Sure.
that's just me being nitpicky.
Yeah, same. We can buy into it, but for the record, the sizes are completely wrong. Like
Yeah, I guess that's technically the beginning of the next issue, but
I think he's like 2/3 of the way to microscopic, if that. Like microscopic is truly microscopic.
I'm surprised the writer didn't go down some sort of like COVID route with all the masks and whatnot.
Yeah, COVID in 1996.
Well, there was making a reference,
No, I don't know. What are you talking
Wow,
about?
I would have made a reference that Sonic is wearing a diaper on his face. Gone real
Oh, you're talking about
alt-right
Mike.
with
You're
it.
talking about Mike F. You're talking about Mike F.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the comic writer.
No.
Yeah, no. Sonic, he at this either he is it's a COVID reference or an ICE officer reference.
Oh,
who are
that wouldn't
the same motherfuckers who were complaining about masks on their face are now wearing masks on their face to commit horrible war crimes against humanity. But
hell yeah,
yeah, some good concentration camp shit.
There's 2 random animals on the sickbed that we don't really know.
Okay. Thank you for mentioning that, because we've got the core group of freedom fighters, including Bunny. Thank goodness. But you've also got others that I have just genuinely never seen in my life. I'm assuming that they are representative of other freedom fighters.
I just assumed they were representative of other people in that hole.
Sure. Yes, who may be freedom fighters or not, or just regular citizenry. You're right.
All right.
But
do you have
damn, they
anything?
could mention that if they wanted to.
No.
Okay, so something interesting here. DARPA, or the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, was founded in 1958. So it's very possible that the folks at Archie Comics may have been clued in to microscopic, to nanites. Now, they call it microbionics here. This is 2 years before Metal Gear Solid is unleashed into the world. Do they mention nanites in Metal Gear?
Nanites? No, they mentioned nano machines.
Nano machines. Okay, got it.
Yeah, nothing about. They don't use the term nanites specifically.
Okay,
but,
it's nano machines. Got it. Okay, you're right.
But they do use in Metal Gear Solid 5 microbiology kind of warfare in that sense, like controlled where it attacks like certain parts of the body specifically.
Because that game is based on that game is based on in the 60s. It takes place in the 60s. I mean, yeah. I honestly, the whole time I was reading, I was trying to sneak in a Fox Die reference, but I didn't want to mess with Mike's pretty damn good script. I'm enjoying this so far. Mike, good job. I don't know if Nick can say the same thing, considering you called him a very questionable individual with the ether rag, but that's a bit and a funny one.
What was I going to say? I was like, I didn't pre-read this. I was like, maybe I should have pre-read this and punch it down a little bit just so that it's not as funny, so people don't get used to funny scripts.
Let's Get Small, Part 2. We return to a scene Nick is all too familiar with. A small hog. A small hog.
Mm-hmm.
A shrunken Sonic finds himself standing between 2 ivory columns, staring down the gaping maw of Rotor's mouth. Wasting no time, he sprints down Rotor's throat with record speed. In fact, it's safe to say that surely no one could outrun Sonic down a throat. He's simply the greatest to ever do it. He is the throat goat. Move over, Nancy Reagan. Sonic continues on, but becomes lost. Just then, a walrus, looking like Rotor in a white wig, blue dress, and a cane, appears. Okay, so this is old lady walrus voice. I'm channeling Golden Girls. I'm doing B. Arthur here. Nah, not really B. Arthur. What should I B. Arthur, or should I do the Iron Lady? Let's do the Iron Lady. Have no fear. I'm not here to fight, just to tell you to give up. I'm Rotor's antibodies. And it's antibodies spelled AUNTIE, like an ant. So
it's
antibodies.
a good bit.
Yeah,
that's a really good bit.
Yeah. I actually did find that genuinely funny.
Yeah, I did too. I actually laughed out loud.
But you're the body's natural defense system against disease and infection. You can't.
So that is quoted straight from the comic itself. That is such an unnaturally intelligent line from Sonic.
But you're the body's natural defense system against disease and infection. You can't give in to this mecha malady.
Sorry. This French virus is too much for me. Robotnik's won this time, and all my fellow antibodies inside the other freedom fighters agree. Sonic, refusing to listen to the antibodies' hopelessness, sprints down Rotor's digestive tract before succumbing to a barrage of green, French-accessed pustules. They explain they are French foreign lesions. Lesions.
Another good joke.
And threaten another round of blasts before Sonic goes Naruto mode and spin dashes to victory. Standing atop a pile of popped pus pockets, Sonic believes he has taken care of the French virus. Just then, the fastest thing alive is knocked backwards by the swing of a crowbar. The attacker speaks. So the name of this creature is called Parasite. So it's another French-themed thing.
Oh, you are the bigger fool than Jerry Lewis. The foreign legions were merely my bodyguards. Now you face me into there.
End of part 2. So we're getting
a lot of
some
French things. In these
I
comics.
thought the same thing because it's like, okay, you've got some fun old auntie, and then you've got some French thing, and then you've got another French thing. Also, the name of this thing is called the French virus. Okay, sure. It tilted heavily towards the French.
What do you think sparked it? What was it? They came up with the idea, the concept, like big level, and they're like, well, we gotta like make these antibodies something. Do you think they were just like, what was the pun that really drove it? Was it the French fries that they ate, or was it? Did he come up with that French lesion like pun and was like, we got to work on that? What do you think was the like start of these of the French?
First of all, I want to underpin how hilarious it is, and we've seen it a number of times here, where they do one pun and they just run away with it for the rest of the story. I just want to point that out.
Should. That's how you should always do puns.
But the most likely one is probably French virus, because there's a good chance one of the writers, or Gallagher himself, was just like, hey, I got some French fries from McDonald's, because this is the 90s, so McDonald's or Burger King or whatever is huge at this point.
Do you think he had some bad fries and he was like shitting his brains out, and as he was shitting his brains out, it was like, man, this is a bad French virus, and then he like wrote it down and he's like calling the other Sonic riders, like, guys, I'm literally shitting out gold right now.
I'm imagining him literally on the toilet.
Yeah.
And he has
back
a phone
then everyone
in
had
the bathroom.
wall phones in the bathroom. Yeah. Or he carried his car phone into the bath, which is like a giant, for those who don't know, would be huge.
Yeah, that's the most likely. Or if this was Ken Penders writing this, which it isn't, but if it was Ken, he might have known about French foreign legions, because he's that kind of autist.
I feel like
me, because I also knew what the French Foreign Legion was, which is kind of a messed up system, but regardless, yes.
That did feel like a Ken joke. It does make me think there's like a little, they like, granted there's a head writer, but they send the script around to be like, hey, what do you guys think? And Ken was just like, you gotta get a French Legion joke here.
Yeah. It is... The thing about the French Foreign Legion that I just find really funny is that they are literally the Starship Troopers thing, where it's service guarantees citizenship. Where if you serve 3 years in the French Foreign Legion, then you can apply for French citizenship, because it is literally what it is. I believe it was started during the Napoleonic era, where Napoleon was like, hey, if you join this thing, you can be a citizen of France, our great empire, in 3 years, give or take. And they have maintained that. They have maintained that to today. It is a continued colonial project that France is still pulling off because it works for them. But
is that something I can join so I can get EU citizenship?
I don't think. Well, first of all, no. But second of all, I'm pretty sure. I don't think you want. I don't think you want French citizenship. It's I will say this: the French definitely know how to protest. I do appreciate them for that. However, they are still snooty, racist sons of bitches. A lot of them are, not all of them. Some of them are very, very based, and we applaud them for it. But goddamn, they can be really, really snooty sons of bitches. Like they still got that spirit from the revolution, man. Where that was honestly one of their biggest flaws. The French is that they did a pretty base thing with the whole, what they did to Louis, but at the same time, they really got in their own heads and being really racist and really colonial while claiming to be free. So I don't know. I mean, very, very America
coded. They gave us
coded.
the baguette, so how bad could they be?
They really hate Americans. No, what you want to be? You want to be a Danish citizen. The Danes love Americans. They straight up do, because of the liberation of. I mean, to be frank, we also liberated France. We did that too, but we liberated. Did I say Danes? I'm so sorry. I meant to say Netherlands. Oh goodness, what's the name for the Netherlands? Not Nether. It is.
Are you talking about Holland?
Yes.
Dutchland?
Dutch. Sorry, thank you. Did I say Dutch or did I say Danes? I think I said Danes.
You said Danes originally.
I did say Danes.
Were you just asking for the Dutch?
Yes, I was asking for the Dutch.
For?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
No, no, but you wouldn't, because
I'm 50%
I was
Dutch. So that's what. Well, I mean, I'm American. I was born here, but
you're 100%. You're American. You're American as apple pie, like me. But you do come from Dutch ancestry. Okay, maybe that'll help you.
Yeah, it won't.
I know that the Luxembourg, if you have ancestry there, you can apply for citizenship.
I know. So I'm 50% Dutch and 50% Polish, and I tried seeing if my mom could get Polish citizenship, and then I could sneak my way in through there, because technically my great grandma came over during the 1930s, whenever everyone was coming over. But from my research that I saw, no, you
actually give off you give off a little more Dutch than you do Polish, but I do see both in you. That checks out. But anyway, yes, the Dutch do like Americans for the most part, compared to at least the French, just because of the Normandy campaign, or not Normandy, but rather the liberation of Europe. They very much like us for that, and it's pretty cool. All right, are we good here?
I think so.
Okay, here we go. Let's get small. First of all, let's get small. What do you think about that title? About the name of this story?
Is there a joke I'm not getting?
That's exactly what I'm trying to get, and I can't. The closest I can get is "Let's Get Lost," which is a Chet Baker song from the 50s, but that doesn't feel like it at all. Let's get small.
It is a Steve Martin album.
Okay.
that came out in 95. So that. Oh wait,
That
no.
could be it.
Maybe that was a remaster because this came out in 77.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it still could be a reference to that.
Could be. And they pull from literally anything, so it's very possible they pulled from that. It could also just be because this is the 90s. They're like, hey, let's get small. I don't know. But that's,
What?
let's get...
Is that a thing people said?
No, just like, just in general, like, hey, let's get crazy. Or let's get nuts. Let's get stupid. Yeah. It's very 90s coded.
Well, according to archiesonic.fandom.com, when, again, we don't support fandom, they don't make reference to the title, so
Okay.
I assume no one knows.
It's so vague that no one can know. Yeah. Let's Get Small, Part 3. Sonic, regaining his senses after being knocked backwards, glares at his accoster. A yellow nugget with a pencil, thin mustache, and a green beret stares back in a somehow less lecherous fashion than your typical Parisian. Nice.
The hedgehog, that was your first lesson. The next one will be fatal, so says Parasite.
Sonic, noting the heavy French accent, immediately reaches for the classic insult, the F slur.
It'll take more than one cheap shot to put me down, froggy boy. Come on, you invasive imbecile. Put up your dukes.
Yes, that is the F slur. Yeah.
Mon ami petit boubloy.
Sorry.
Mon ami.
No, not even my enemy.
Maintenant, petit boubloy.
Boobloy.
Okay, it's actually boy blue. So I'm getting some I'm flipping the words here on top of the accent. Okay.
Maintenant, petit boy blue. I will not sully my hands with you. I will have that job to my henchman.
I will leave that job to my henchman. At that
Or
moment,
Frenchman.
That's true. At that moment, a burst of flame passes through Sonic's legs, burning his little blue tush. Sonic leaps into the air.
Yow! If I wasn't so fast, I would have been French toast.
Parasite introduces Sonic to Fever, an anthropomorphic wisp of fire who is hot to trot and lashes out at Sonic. Leaping into the air, Sonic responds by throwing a punch, immediately reacting the same way one does when grabbing a baking tray in the oven while forgetting to put on oven mitts with a burned hand and feeling stupid as hell.
That felt a little autobiographical.
Yeah. While Sonic stands there nursing his blackened hand, Parasite winds up for the final blow.
Observe as I finish him off with a blow from my microbe bar.
Observe as I finish him off with a blow from my microbe bar. What is a microbe bar? Is it like microbar? Is it a joke on microbar?
Yeah, microbar.
Yeah.
Microbar.
Oh, I'm so stupid. I thought he was making like a mini bar reference or something like that. Okay.
No.
Like literally. Okay. But it's spelled microbe
Yep.
bar. That's
It's something where you don't really hear it until it's said out loud.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know about that, sonny boy.
Sacre bleu!
Make that sacre black and blue, you ruffian. Antibody yanks away Parasite's crowbar and defeats him in one blow, explaining all the way how Sonic's bravery inspired her to continue to fight as well. Sonic then runs circles around Fever, drawing out the oxygen and suffocating the fire out of existence. Sonic and Antibody stand victorious over the corpse of Parasite and the smoldering embers of Fever. Nice job, kiddo. You broke the fever.
Thanks for showing up, ma'am. Now, about the other infected freedom fighters.
Don't worry, Sonic. I'm going to call each one of their antibodies on my one-celled cellular phone. We return to the freedom fighters with X-rays showing their respective antibodies defeating the invading forces. Historians will surely document this decisive French loss as the Battle of Waterloo. With his famous recovering, Sonic... Is that a comic joke or is that a Mike joke? I feel like that it could go either way.
That's a Mike joke.
That's really good, Mike.
That's a Mike
That's
joke.
really good. With his friends recovering, Sonic bids adieu to Antibody and gallops up the gullet of his walrus friend. As he reaches daylight, he realizes that he is still tiny and won't be seen or heard by his comrades, and he can't reach the enlarger switch on the machine. Thinking fast, Sonic bounces into Rotor's nose, gives him a little tickle, and then rockets out on a jet-propelled sneeze right into the enlarger switch. Sonic stands before his friends, now normal size and somehow not dripping in walrus snot. "You did it! You cured us!"
No big thing, Rotor. In fact, it was a very small thing.
With his friends groggily waking up, Sonic speeds away to grab some food. Chicken soup. The secret ingredient, revealed to us by Rotor, is chili dogs. Thus, the reader is clued in on the grim dynamics of this relationship, as the freedom fighters cannot escape the childish culinary demands of their spiky savior. End of part 3.
He is like force feeding them chili dogs, like even if they don't want it. It's definitely like they're prisoners to Sonic the Hedgehog, the world's strongest being.
Yeah, the older, and it truly is like a teenage thing or like a young person thing, because for me, as the older I get, the more I really need to space out the really heavy, greasy foods like that. It would be bad. That would feel gross, having that many chili dogs all the time. I mean, granted, we have implied in the past that he has a higher metabolism, Sonic does, because he runs so fast, so it's like a Flash situation.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he can take it, but the others can't. If that's the case, that's actually pretty good. But yeah, how did we feel about this story?
Before we do that, I'm gonna do a quick correction on myself really quickly. In '95, they had small cell phones.
Okay.
Yeah, they. Like if it was 5 years earlier, my joke would have made more sense.
Yeah, because
in
like
'95, they definitely had like. They were
a smaller
expensive,
phone, yeah.
No,
yeah,
like actual, like this big.
Oh, okay. Because in the 80s, you were thinking like the brick phone from the 80s? Yeah, okay.
Which, maybe Gallagher didn't upgrade his phone yet, so maybe he still had that. It's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his life.
These are comic traders. They're not making that much money.
Out of all of the like fun nonsensical issues we've had so far, this is definitely a top tier one. This is S rank. This is one of my favorites. Fantastic puns all the way down.
It's such a complete, not non sequitur, but rather like random ass genre switch that I'm cool with it, because they're copying. It's a classic story. This has been done to death a million times. This story of the characters
Osmosis Jones.
Well,
I guess
Magic
they just
School
shrink
Bus.
into it, but yeah, everyone does.
Yeah, this is very Osmosis Jones coded well before that movie came out. So, yeah, no, I'm with it. It is from a, I think, 60s movie.
Journey.
Not Journey to the Center of the Earth.
They go. They shrink the spaceship into.
Yeah.
And then they fly into the body.
Yeah. I remember watching parts of it on like some random channel, but yeah, it works. It works because it's so silly. It's so not random, but the subject matter is so random. This plot, this classic TV plot of going into someone's body, and yeah, and even the setup, like, hey, we just had bad fast food, sabotage fast food from Robotnik. Okay, sure. This is not a Ken Pender's realm of semi-seriousness or try-hard seriousness, where it's just, every criticism I have of it just goes back to, yeah, but it's a silly Mike Gallagher script,
Yeah, there's no real criticisms on this one. It's just a fun little romp through Rotor's body. That's all.
Which, Okay, you ready to? You want to move on?
Yeah, I really don't have any notes. It was just a fun one. I liked it.
Yeah. What'd you think about Mike's script?
I mean, technically, it's not done yet.
It's true. You're right. All right. Here we go.
But I was right. I should have punched it down a little bit.
The Big Picture. Script by Mike Kanternovich and Ken Penders. Penciled by Ken Penders. A cloaked figure looking like Moltar from Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. Pretty good. Stands
totally. Sorry, I didn't get. Yeah, that's great.
Stands before a control panel and multiple video screens. Across the monitors are Knuckles and the Chaotix crew, and a shadowy figure wearing a Crocodile Dundee-like hat whose name will be revealed shortly. The hooded observer monologues. Okay, so I actually have to look up Moltar.
He's the grasshopper guy.
No, he's not the grasshopper guy.
Oh, he's the hooded guy who's in like the center of the volcano looking area.
Yes. So I'm sorry, are you talking about the comic or are you talking about Moltar?
Moltar, yeah.
Yeah. So Moltar, yes, yeah, he's the guy basically in like a hazmat suit but black and red.
Yeah.
Space Ghost, let me ask you something. How come you never introduced me?
Do what now?
At the beginning of each show, you introduce yourself, you introduce Zorak. I just thought it would be nice one time if you introduced me too.
Yeah.
Okay, I had to look up Moltar from Space, specifically the Adult Swim Space Ghost.
Yes.
And also
because he also hangs out in front of like a control panel.
Yes, he does.
So I think that's why.
Yeah. I remember his role. I forgot his voice, and I was listening to it just now, and it's pretty good. I need to watch some Space Ghost, man. That shit was classic.
Space Ghost is perfect.
Yes, it really was. He was also the one-time host of Toonami. He was in 3D for a bit, and he was the Toonami host, I think, for 1 or 2 seasons, 1 or 2 years. Which I forgot about.
Are you gonna have this guy's voice be Moltar?
It is. I'm gonna try and do Moltar Space Ghost voice right now.
Hell yeah!
It's tough. It's pretty like a darker voice and graggly too. Archimedes has captured Knuckles' allies, the Chaotix, and sent the I'm trying not to do Knuckles Brooklyn. Okay. Archimedes has captured Knuckles' allies, the Chaotix, and sent the Guardian off the floating island on a wild goose chase. All of them beautifully ignorant of the big picture. I could be helpful. Point Knuckles in the right direction, but at what cost? By imparting knowledge, I would deny him the opportunity to acquire wisdom. No, whatever answers he seeks, he must find from within. And though his path appears to lead away from revelation, appearances can be deceiving. I was trying to do the head flips that Moltar.
Sure.
The hooded figure points to a screen that one must assume are their plans, though they are so simple it begs the question as to why write them down at all. So I really have to. That was a.
Yeah, really.
That's
you're the
more
real
than,
throat goat now.
That's that's much more than Robotnik. On the screen are the crudely drawn heads of Archimedes, Knuckles, and an arrow directing Knuckles towards a Bond villain-esque destination featuring a skull on a mountain. Is the hooded figure attempting to lead Knuckles to their favorite roller coaster, Skull Mountain, at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson Township, New Jersey?
I just love that because he does what I do. He's like, yeah, let's type in Mount Fate and see what comes up on Google.
So for the record, I'm a Great America kid, so I'm not familiar with Skull Mountain. But he did provide a link. Actually, he did put a link in the script. Okay, and it's straight to the Wikipedia picture. Thank you, Mike F. Sure. Unfortunately not, as the ride did not open until later that year in June 1996. Perhaps the hooded figure was able to experience the ride in some manner prior to its opening to the general public, you ask. Yep, I totally was asking. Well, now you're grasping at straws, trying to justify something that just isn't the case. For if you had taken just a moment longer to read this panel, you would see that the name of this destination is Mount Fate, which is decidedly not Skull Mountain. The story is left to be continued, leaving the reader to ponder whether they themselves are about to embark on some sort of narrative roller coaster, while simultaneously leaving the narrator to ponder why the reader is seemingly so obsessed with roller coasters. End.
That actually makes me think he knew of that roller coaster.
Yeah.
I've come around on this. I'm full circle. I think this is genius because this is so fucking dumb.
This story,
The story, they're trying so hard to be like, there's something pretty fucking crazy going on here.
Conspiratorial,
Yeah. And then the fact that the Chaotix crew is being watched by Archimedes, who's being watched by this guy, is just so fucking dumb. I'm in love with it. And like he clearly has the mind of a child because the plans that he drew are like
who has the minds of a child, Ken Penders or this character?
I mean, Ken Penders wrote it, so you
extrapolate from there.
Yeah. Well, Mike Konturnovich helped, so
okay.
No, Mike probably punched it up a bit, and because the plan is literally just a picture of Knuckles and a picture of Archimedes with an arrow going to Mount Fate.
Yeah,
like that's the plan.
Like some kind of
he's
vision
got like
board.
1,000. It's a vision board, and he's got like 1,000 monitors in front of him, like watching. It's just, it's so obnoxious and dumb in a way that I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty good now.
So stupid. I saw that and I'm like, you are fucking joking me. That is so stupid.
It's so funny.
And the character is pointing at it too. It's like, yes.
Oh,
they're doing the thing.
You know what? Oh, dude. I'm just noticing. The layout of this dude that the
his office,
Grandmaster, whatever we want to call him.
Yeah.
Moltar. And Zorak by the name is the grasshopper. I forgot it. Like it just.
Oh, thank you. I was confused. Are you talking about the Archimedes in the story? No.
So doesn't the layout of the monitors kind of look like he's in an emerald?
I do not trust Ken Penders enough for that to be true. For that to be.
Look at that. Look at that.
No.
That is by design.
I concur. It does look like an emerald, and you're good for pointing that out. I don't trust Ken Penders. No, I'm saying that would be so cool. I'm just
saying, like, what if he's like a tiny dude inside like the Master Emerald?
That would be so dumb. I am now wrapped around to this being the thing. I am now wrapped around to that being the thing.
Because they haven't introduced the Master Emerald yet, right?
You're right. Right. What if the Master Emerald is literally a master?
Yeah. No, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm fucking at. Because I'm thinking this dude is like there's always an echidna who protects the Master Emerald, and there's always a echidna inside the Master Emerald pulling the strings of fate, man.
That would be so
I'm
bad.
calling it. I am calling that is inside the Master Emerald.
That there is a master inside the Master Emerald itself, pulling
and
strings.
That's why it's called the Master Emerald.
Watching. Okay.
And, oh man, I bet they could get crazy with it. I bet the only reason why it's called the Master Emerald is because it has someone inside it. And that means all the other Chaos Emeralds could become Master Emeralds if it had a master inside them.
What?
Because the lore here isn't following Sonic lore. It's doing its own thing.
No,
so
that's
you gotta
fine. I'm okay with
think.
that. But
you gotta
still,
think outside the box.
Like, why? How could the Master Emerald set up security cameras throughout everywhere?
That's your problem?
Like, I would think it would be like some kind of energy.
It's a master emerald, dude.
Can it do that much? Can it like manipulate
Yeah, why
items
not?
out of thin air? Okay.
That's pretty low on my problems list of what the master emerald
it would make
probably
more
can
sense.
and can't do.
That theory would make more sense if it was like energy readings, like he can just like telepathy or whatever. But anyway, it would.
My
look.
extremely real answer is I bet this is just a lab and he's just obsessed with emeralds.
That's true. That is probably more likely the case. It would make more sense to me, your theory, if it was like a Fortress of Solitude looking thing, and all the feeds that he's getting from like the cameras. It was like, yeah, it's like a hologram, like a Marlon Brando situation.
Sure. There's also okay, so he's got a live monitor feed of the emerald that keeps the island afloat. And I think the implication is that the emerald that keeps the island afloat is the master emerald.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't said it yet.
But dude, how awesome would that be?
It'd be so fucking dumb. I'd be pretty into it.
All right,
like I said, this is wrapped around to being genius because of how dumb whatever thing they're trying to set up. I'm already like, this is honestly like this is so indicative of the espionage kind of stuff Ken Penders just tried to write, which is like someone watching someone, etc. Yeah.
I will say, if this is the angle, someone watching someone, I do think it's a little bit of a better conspiracy than Ken Penders trying to do the double whatever with the Sally miniseries. If you remember that with Jeffrey. Not the Jeffrey relationship, but just Jeffrey being a double agent. Yeah.
You know how he could really make it next level? If someone was watching this guy. I'm just saying.
That is my hope. That is what I'm hoping for. And I hope it's not something stupid like the freedom fighters are watching this guy. No. I want a third level of some new person.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be another Echidna or Jeffrey St. John.
Or if it was Jeffrey St. John, that would
suddenly be cool.
That's exactly what I was going to say, bro. Okay. All right, let's just stop right there because we're running away with it. All right, up next, Sonic Shot. Script by Ken Penders and pencils by Ken Penders, and boy does it show.
Yeah.
The story begins on an open ice rink with Antoine, Rotor, and Sonic playing hockey. Antoine accuses Sonic of being a puck hog, while Rotor remains silent, likely agreeing but not willing to lose street cred for supporting the twerpy fox. Sonic tells him to chill out, reminding him it's all fun and games, which is typical puck hog behavior. Sonic winds up and takes a shot at goal. Slack! That's like the onomatopoeia comic style, so S-L-A-K. Slack! The noise we all know and agree is the universal sound made when a puck is hit. He shoots, he scores? The puck bounces off Rotor and slides into a pair of metallic hands. Not quite, Sonic, although I admit it was a nice save on Rotor's part. Rotor is dumbfounded by the compliment, seeing as he never gets any from his comrade. Sonic identifies the voice as Snively. It's not what you think, Hedgehog. Even assistants to the great and powerful robotic need a break now and then. What do you mean? This better be good. You think it's fun fighting against your freedom fighters all the time. Think of it. No TV or video games. Long hours, bad food, and worst of all, no football or hockey. Despite having the frame and appearance of a tuberculosis-stricken orphan, Snively reveals that he is a sports freak and that when he is checking monitors, he saw them playing. and is now itching to join in on the game. Rather than just come alone and play alongside the freedom fighters, however, he has brought a posse of SWAT bots to challenge the heroes. Sonic grows multiple sets of eyes in response. What? You're right. Yeah, he does on that frame. In that panel. For the record, the panel is him looking back and forth between Tails and Antoine, but it does look like he has a lot of eyes. This is Sonic speaking.
This on the level? Strictly on the up and up. No tricks? No tricks. Well, I guess. Game's on.
I just want to compliment strictly on the up and up. That's some good slang there, man. All right. The puck is dropped and the game begins. Meanwhile, Dr. Robotnik stumbles upon the monitors that Snively left running, and he sees them all playing hockey. He is momentarily enraged, but logic takes over, and he senses an opportunity to strike. Robotnik pilots his ship to the ice rink, announces himself, and Snively bemoans his boss's arrival. Robotnik has come with a proposal for a hockey match.
My team against your team. Winner take all.
Winner take all? What? What's the prize if we beat you?
Exactly what I said, Hedgehog. If you win, you and your friends win your freedom and eternal peace, love, and tranquility.
And if you win,
this is the part I really like. You and your entire band of freedom fighters submit to the roboticization process, becoming my personal slaves.
Sonic, despite having no prior evidence that Robotnik would honor such a deal, accepts. One final rule is established. In the event of a tie, the game goes to sudden death. Overtime. This will have no bearing on the match. The puck is dropped and play begins. The SWAT bots, perhaps in a nod to the contemporary style of the NHL in the 90s, all begin playing the enforcer role, elbowing, checking, and tripping the freedom fighters, knocking them down to the ice. Tails attempts to retaliate by tripping a SWAT bot, a perfectly acceptable style of play, but Sally scolds him, reminding him that they are the good guys, once again hearkening to the timeless Spacewall quote, "Evil will always triumph because good is dumb." The SWAT bot is on a breakaway, one-on-one with Rotor in the net. At the last possible moment, Sonic swoops in, steals the puck, drives to the opponent's net, and nutmegs the defender. An easy task, since the bot opted to play goalie without a stick. The freedom fighters rejoice, because they've won somehow. Typical hockey games last for 3 periods and often feature multiple goals, but evidently everyone is on the same page because Robotnik acknowledges the win. Predictably, he does not honor the bet, though he allows his enemies to live another day. Snively smiles on, comforted by getting to watch his boss get pucked. End.
I refuse to believe that Snively is like low-key a sports nerd.
Yeah, same here. Also, why is he dressed so cool?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. But Snively 100% seemed like the type that would be like, I would never bring myself down to the level of brutes that use athleticism to try to, like,
Agreed.
you know, one up other people. So that's why I'm like, I this whole fucking.
Like he is, when he is first introduced, he is an Igor-like henchman, sniveling, literally sniveling. And here he's wearing a cool leather jacket and playing hockey. Like, bro, dude, I'm inclined to think this is like alternate universe Snively. This is cool Snively.
From like Cool Sonic's universe?
From Cool Sonic, yeah. I don't get it. That was a complete, like, wow. Yeah. Do you think like another group of people should have been the ones playing hockey with the freedom fighters? Who could do you think of the Chaotix?
Honestly, yeah, anybody.
The Chaotix are, I know that technically the Chaotix are preoccupied with their story right now, but I don't think we care about continuity right now.
Well, we have, I mean, this is just a fun side thing, so it could have happened
Yes.
whenever. I personally would want to see Hamlin on the ice rink.
Yes. There would be no stakes because it's pork. But no, there would be no stakes because it's Robotnik providing the bet. But yeah, it could have been anyone.
I mean, I don't have much to say. This is kind of nothing issue.
Nothing issue?
Well, I mean, no, nothing. Well, yeah, actually.
In terms of the main plot, you're right. It is kind of a nothing issue.
I meant the hockey one, the story.
Shout out to Mike for the Spaceball quote, which feels very much an attack on neoliberalism. I forget the context of the Spaceballs quote. I don't know if I feel like it could be attacking the neoliberal order and just being like cool with whatever, but that could just be a joke on Star Wars in general. But yeah, for the most part, do you think they would have honored the bet, the Freedom Fighters?
Well, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Sonic's pretty fucking dumb.
Yeah, Sonic's dumb.
Actually,
and Sally was like, "Hey, don't do that, Tails. Play nice. Play nice."
Yeah.
That's me trying to extrapolate something from here.
I know.
Let's go to emails, but let's shout out to Mike F for this kick-ass script. That was pretty good. Very much written like Nick would. Very closely. It's like you guys share some kind of humor here. It's awesome.
He's just some guy I met once. Grab your guitar.
Oh, grab your guitar? Okay. Now it's time for sonograms. You can write to sonograms. Oh yeah, it's a legally distinct sonograms. It's an unaffiliated sonograms. We made our own sonograms. Okay.
All right. We have some emails, but I normally try to do them in the order we receive them, but considering the fact that this has been a Mike F centric episode, I figured I would jump to the email Mike F wrote this morning at 2:15 a.m., which I'll prelude. It's a prelude to maybe the state of the email state that he was in when he sent this email. I don't know. Years ago, an infamous debate took hold of the internet surrounding Ant-Man and Thanos. Fans questioned why couldn't Ant-Man shrink himself, enter Thanos' ass, and then enlarge himself, ripping Thanos apart from the inside.
You're talking about Thanos, right?
Yeah.
Thanos.
I thought Thanos was also acceptable.
So no one in the entirety of the whole franchise or in popular culture says Thanos.
Well, for my universe,
you can't even blame your reading comprehension skills on that one.
I've always said Thanos.
Okay.
And I'm not going to stop now.
Okay.
Regardless of the answer, I bring that up because in issue number 33, the one we just read, Sonic shrinks himself down and enters Rotor's internal organs. With all that in mind, what is stopping Sonic from shrinking himself and entering Robotnik's asshole and then spin dashing his way through his innards?
Lead underwear.
You think just 24/7 he's wearing lead underwear?
Probably, considering how much radiation he's probably around. You think
and
his
the
bottom
only thing
half,
he's protecting is just his balls?
What if his whole lower half from his waist down is completely roboticized except for his dick and balls?
That was actually going to be my answer. Unironically, that was my answer. Was his entire bottom half? He has no asshole. That's why Sonic hasn't done this. Otherwise, that's like game plan number 1. What, you don't jump straight to the asshole plan? Excuse me. What's your first plan?
I take him out to dinner. I
resistance?
take him out to dinner first, Nick.
Oh. And then throat goat.
So do you think instead of do you think he still has to expel waste, or has he completely removed that from his process?
I think he has designed his body in a way where he is very efficient and doesn't need to expel waste because it is fueling his roboticness, robotic innards.
Because it was either that or some kind of compromise where his asshole opens and closes like an airlock.
Do you think he has like a button that he pushes, or does he have like?
Oh, he can just
think it.
Yeah.
Okay. How big of a?
Okay, buddy. All right.
we have fun here. And that's the issue. Only 300.
No. There's got to be another email from someone, right?
I mean, there is, but
let's do that one. We've been holding them back.
Our next email is from Plasma K. Dear Dom and Rick Diaz. It's a good little Gundam joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dom is one of the major suits in Gundam, and Rick Diaz is just one of them. I
want the jazz soundtrack to that one Gundam.
You should watch
series.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah,
Thunderbolt's good
because apparently, like, it's not just a random jazz soundtrack. They are like the characters are listening to free jazz while they're fighting.
It's great.
That's awesome.
I honestly I don't know why I didn't even think of. You need to watch Thunderbolt. What am I doing?
We'll record that shit.
That's Patreon content, baby. I've caught up to your podcast, and question in episode 44 inspired one of my own. How would you integrate How would you like to integrate Freedom Fighters, possibly Sans, Sonic and Tails, into modern /IDW continuity, pie in the sky version or somewhat realistic version? I ask this question right now while they are still in their plain state before they are developed by penders and bowlers.
That's from Plasma K. So I want to clarify, in case we are reading this question incorrectly, but here's how we're reading this, is that you're asking about the current IDW run, which we have not read. Right? Nick and I have not read.
Yeah, I think so, you're right. I think that's how I'm interpreting the question too, which we haven't read that at all.
Yes. So I don't think we can answer this question. And although I do think it's interesting, I asked this question right now, I'm quoting them, while they are still in their plain state before they are developed by penders and bowlers. So the premise, again, we could be reading this question wrong, apologies, but for those who are just jumping in as well, the basis of this show, Gotta Talk Fast, is that we haven't read any of this shit at all. So literally, we are reading it comic by comic, issue by issue, I should say, like from the very beginning. So we don't know how penders and ballers are going to develop the Sonic crew. We don't know how they could be. We don't know their modern IDW continuity. Go ahead.
So I reread it. Yeah, you can interpret it with the IDW continuity. I think he's asking, how do we interpret the Freedom Fighters into both IDW or the Sonic games themselves?
Okay, so we can answer that. We can answer
Sonic
that.
Frontiers, stuff like that.
Okay, well, we haven't played Frontiers.
Well,
but,
yeah, I played the first hour of it or so.
Okay. You want to answer first?
So in my mind, how I interpret the Freedom Fighters is they only come together under the context of a world under control of Robotnik, right? Mm-hmm. And so most of the games and everything is Robotnik trying to take over the world. So I don't think they're like actual, like they're a group. I think they would be like fun side characters you would run into, but they're not part of like the core main team. I think like Rotor would have a shop, right? And Tails would go to that shop to buy like tools and
gadgets
stuff that he needs to build his new plane, and they talk shop while he's there. Or like Amy and Buns just happen to be friends and they go I hate the fact that I went straight to shopping because I'm an old boomer sexist asshole, and don't you forget it.
Well, you were just talking shop, like literally you said the word talking shop.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's kind of how I interpret it, where like Sally would be well, there's never been like a monarchy in the newer version of the Sonic game, so I don't know who.
Yeah,
clearly
I see
the
where you're going. I
president's
see where you're
daughter.
going. Yeah, so you're saying they would have to be side characters. I would say, getting into the meat of the question, I would integrate them. You could just make it a nation. Just make it a nation.
The Freedom Fighters Nation?
No. Just like
No,
there
I
was
know,
a whole separate country / nation / maybe even continent where it's the same dynamic. Freedom Fighters, Underground Rebels versus some dominant power. Maybe not Robotnik. I think it would make the most sense with Robotnik. The plot could be, right? Sonic Forces 2. Did you ever play Sonic? No, you didn't play Sonic Forces?
No.
I have watched the plot, most of the plot to Sonic Forces, and it's a crazy fucking, I won't even spoil it.
Yeah,
but,
please don't.
but you could make the Freedom Fighters introduction, hey, Robotnik has taken over this country, right? And Sonic is not dispatched, but maybe just like he sees this because he's a good guy. It's like, this is wrong. And then he joins forces with the Freedom Fighters, and that's how you connect them. And I can't explain.
I do like that idea of Sonic and team trying to go liberate this like country from Robotnik's rule.
Which is a little bit of what Sonic Forces is the plot of. That is kind of the plot. I can't spoil anything more because I do want us to experience this together. But I think we should play that soon, honestly, because now that I'm thinking about it, it's pretty awesome. The plot, the game, not so much. But yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah. I think you're not wrong. I think that's yeah. All right. And that's the issue. Only 382 left to go. I'm Nick. I stream at twitch.tv/Mojosaurus, and my personal Blue Sky is at Mojosaurus.
And I'm Dominic. You can follow my jazz and people power adventures in Chicago at Blue Collar Jazz. You can also find me on Blue Sky at DomGuan.
You can follow us on socials at Gotta Talk Fast. TikTok is Gotta Talk Faster. We also have a video version of the podcast where you can follow along with panels and watch our handsome faces. You can write into the show at sonicgrams at gottatalkfast.com, ask us questions, provide corrections, and give us your opinion on this week's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And remember, when life keeps going fast, you gotta talk fast and just get through it.
I love you.
Gotta talk, gotta talk.
Gotta Talk Fast was written by Nick Folkerts and edited by Dominic Guanzon. Intro and outro themes recorded by Dominic Guanzon. Gotta Go Fast originally composed by Norman J. Grossfeld, Joseph Garrity, and Russell Velasquez.
Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk. Gotta talk. Fast. Gotta talk. Fast. Gotta talk. Fast. Gotta talk. Fast.